You have felt it, haven't you? That invisible thread gently tugging at your heart. A name that rises even in silence. A presence that lingers when no one is around. The angels are whispering now, this soul has just awakened to your light. And what they're feeling. It's not something they can control. It's not attraction. It's not infatuation. It's recognition. Heaven placed you in this person's life to shake the foundations of their numbness. To show them what it's like to truly feel. You didn't arrive as a storm. You arrived as a stillness that made everything else louder. And now, they can't go back. This person is in a quiet revolution of the heart. They're not saying it out loud. But inside, they're kneeling. They are suddenly seeing themselves through your eyes, and realizing that who you are is not only rare, but sacred. They don't know how to name this yet. They don't have the words. But heaven does. The angels say, she was sent as a guide disguised as love. You are not just part of their journey. You are the turning point. They didn't know how much you mattered, until the silence screamed your absence. And the divine stepped in. For it is written, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5 verse 14, there's a reason why you feel them close one moment, and distant the next. A rhythm that's not yours, but somehow you've been dancing to it. The angels say, this person carries walls not built by you, but revealed through you. They are not hiding from you. They are hiding from the parts of themselves they've spent a lifetime avoiding. Shame. Guilt. Old echoes of being unloved. You touched it all, without touching them. You didn't trigger their fear. You illuminated it. When you walked in with your calm, they felt the tremble in their own chaos. When you stood firm in your love, they realized how many times they'd abandoned their own heart. This connection unearthed something deep, a mirror that shows not only the love they want, but the healing they fear. You may be tempted to think, if I were enough, they would stay. But the angels are firm, your presence brought too much truth too quickly. And truth, though sacred, is terrifying when one's soul isn't ready. So they ran, or got distant, or chose silence. Not because they don't feel, but because feeling means changing. And change, dear soul, is never easy. Let go of the blame. Let go of the narrative that says you were too much. You were the first glimpse of real love. And that's exactly why they broke. You've been pouring from your soul, holding space, holding hope, holding your breath. But beloved, who is holding you? The angels come close now, their wings brushing the ache in your chest. You were never meant to disappear inside someone else's healing. You matter, too. This connection, however spiritual, however divine, was never meant to extinguish your light. You are not the firewood for someone else's warmth. You are the flame. Heaven wants you to remember this. Love does not ask you to wait in the shadows. Love invites you to shine beside, not beneath. While they wrestle with their fears, you are being called to nurture your truth. To wake up every morning and ask, how do I love myself today? Because the more you choose yourself, the more you teach them what love truly looks like. And the more they begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, they are worthy of it. You are not abandoning them by choosing yourself. You are anchoring the frequency they fell in love with. The one that made them tremble. The one that felt like home. And if they are meant to rise, they will meet you in that light. But don't dim it while you wait. You didn't come to comfort their illusions. You came to awaken their truth. And that's exactly what you did. The angels say, your soul spoke what your lips never had to say. Just by existing, you reflected back to them a self they didn't want to see, the child who was never chosen, the lover who was always left, the dreamer who learned to stop dreaming. You didn't cause their pain, but your presence made it undeniable. Every glance you offered said, I see the parts of you you've buried. And that is unbearable for someone who has spent a life mastering the art of pretending. They saw their shadows in your light. They felt their hollowness beside your wholeness. And instead of softening, they retreated. Because healing, dear soul, doesn't always start with gratitude. Sometimes it starts with rage, with fear, with silence. You became their mirror. And mirrors don't lie. They reveal. Even when we're not ready. If they pushed you away, know this, it wasn't rejection. It was recoil. Because what they saw in you was what they longed to be, but never believed they could become. And yet, something inside them is shifting. Because once you see truth, you can't unsee it. It's subtle at first. A hesitation in their breath when they think of you. A softness in their eyes when no one's watching. But it's happening. The awakening. The angels whisper, your love was the seed. The breaking is the bloom. They don't even understand it fully, but something inside them is cracking open. Old stories are unraveling. Old defenses dissolving. You were not just another encounter. You were the interruption. The holy disruption that made them question everything. Now, they find themselves looking for your voice in crowded rooms. Dreaming of your touch in the quiet hours before dawn. They wonder how someone like you saw someone like them, and didn't run. That wonder is the beginning of change. The angels are surrounding them in this hour of transition, guiding their soul through fog and fear. And slowly, they are beginning to ask the questions that matter. What if I am enough? What if love could be safe? What if I let it in? This is not the end. This is the trembling start of remembering, of learning how to feel without fleeing, to want without wounding, to stay without silencing the heart. And you? You were the invitation. You still are. Let them rise. In their time. Love waits for what is sacred. You feel the pull, then the pause. The closeness, then the cold. It's not your imagination. It's the pattern. The angels say, this soul dances in and out of love like waves, not because they don't want to stay, but because they were never taught how to. Every time they get close to you, something inside them flinches. The old wound wakes up. The memory of being left, of losing control, of needing too much. And so they vanish. Disappear into silence. Pull away just when it's getting good. You've asked yourself, if they care, why do they leave? But love for them is both a longing and a threat. They crave your light, but fear the burn. They want you, deeply, but don't know if they can survive the tenderness it demands. This is not rejection. This is resistance. Not to you, but to what you represent, real love. Unarmored. Unscripted. Alive. The angels are working behind the veil, softening their fears, breaking the cycles inherited from generations of pain. But it takes time. And trust. And while they spiral through their patterns, you're being called to hold your center. Not for them. For you. Because every time they leave, they take a piece of themselves with them. But every time they return, it's because something in them still believes you are worth the fight. They've been wounded in ways words cannot explain. Not by you, but by the silence of childhood, the betrayal of old lovers, the years of feeling unseen. And yet, your presence feels different. Safer. Stranger. Softer. The angels say, she didn't heal him with her hands. She healed him with her being. It's not what you said. It's how you saw him. The way you didn't ask him to be anyone else. The way your laughter created space for his sorrow to breathe. You didn't fix him. You reminded him that he was never broken. He's not used to that. To being held without expectation. To being loved without a mask. So part of him resists. Still. Because love like this feels unfamiliar. Too clean. Too honest. Too good. But the angels are softening the edges of his fear. And your love? It's not screaming. It's steady. It's waiting. It's working. Even in silence. Even in distance. Even now. Because real love doesn't demand proof. It transforms without needing credit. And whether he says it or not, he knows. You didn't just love him. You loved the parts of him he thought no one would ever touch. And in doing that, you reminded his soul of something it forgot. Love is not pain. It's medicine. There's a timing to all things sacred. And what is unfolding between you two has never been random. The angels speak now gently, clearly. This was written, not in ink, but in light. Before you ever met, your souls agreed to find each other. To meet not in perfection, but in process. And that's what this is, not a detour, but a destiny unfolding exactly as it should. Even in the waiting. Even in the wondering. He may not understand why he dreams of you more now than when you spoke daily. Why your name rises when his heart grows quiet. But you do. You feel the pull in your chest. The knowing that defies logic. Because love like this doesn't ask for speed. It asks for faith. Not in him. Not even in outcomes. But in the plan that was whispered before your first breath. You are not lost. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. So when doubt creeps in, return to this truth. What is guided cannot be taken. What is sacred cannot be rushed. What is yours, soul to soul, will rise in time. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. He wants to love you. But he fears the cost. Not because you are hard to love, but because what you offer is real. And real requires surrender. The angels say, he's standing at the door of his own heart trembling, because you are the key, and he doesn't feel ready to open. There's history behind his hesitation. Not just wounds from others, but wars within himself. Stories of being too much, too soft, too unseen. You didn't awaken those stories. But your love made them impossible to ignore. He senses it, the depth of your affection, the safety in your presence, the terrifying possibility that maybe you won't leave. That's what frightens him most. Because he's been preparing for abandonment longer than he's been preparing for intimacy. So he pauses. He questions. He pushes you away. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much, and caring makes him feel exposed. But even in this vulnerability, something sacred is happening. The angels are near him now, softening his edges, calming the storms. And they whisper to you, do not confuse silence with indifference. Sometimes the deepest love is the quietest. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 verse 18. Not every love is loud. Some loves arrive like breath, soft, invisible, essential. And this one? It was written in stillness. Signed by heaven. The angels speak one final time. Let go of how you thought it would look. Hold on to how it makes you feel. You were not sent to fix, to chase, to wait endlessly. You were sent to awaken. And you did. Now comes the holy work of surrender. To trust that what is meant will never need to be forced. To know that your love has already done its work. It carved a path in a heart that had been frozen for years. Whether he walks it now or later is no longer your burden. You are free to breathe. To live. To love yourself with the same depth you once reserved for him. Because true love is never about holding tighter. It's about opening wider. Wider to possibility. Wider to peace. Wider to what your soul has always known, that what is yours will feel like home, not hunger. And if he returns, let it be because he remembered the way your light felt in the dark. Until then, rest in this, you have loved well. And love like yours never goes unnoticed in heaven.